Imagine, if you will, a clock starting. You have just 5 minutes. In that brief span, can the story of a nation's sprawling growth be told? Can the journey from a thin line of coastal colonies to a continent-spanning republic of 50 states be understood? It's a tale of breathtaking speed, of ambition, and of profound consequence. It is a story not just of land acquired, of lives transformed, of peoples displaced, and of the American idea stretching and reshaping itself across a vast and challenging landscape. This is the story of how the United States filled its map, driven by deals, discoveries, conflicts, and the unceasing movement of people seeking a new beginning. This rapid expansion was not a foregone conclusion. It was propelled by a powerful mixture of human desires: hunger for land, lure of commerce, belief in manifest destiny. This belief fueled treaties, purchases. It also justified wars and the heartbreaking removal of Native American tribes from their ancestral homes. Our story starts with a fragile union of 13 former British colonies, huddled along the Atlantic coast. After the hard-won victory of the Revolutionary War, the Treaty of Paris in 1783 officially recognized the United States. Its territory, however, was modest by today's standards, stretching only to the Mississippi River. The future was uncertain. Could these disparate states, with their different economies and cultures, hold together? The founders, men like George Washington and James Madison, understood that for the young republic to survive, it needed to grow. It needed a structure for expansion that would bind new territories to the old, not as colonies, but as equal partners. This foundational idea was brilliantly codified in the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. This was more than just a law, it was a promise. It established a clear, orderly process for the vast lands north of the Ohio River. An area would first be a territory, governed by federal appointees, but once its population reached 60,000 free inhabitants, it could draft a state constitution and apply for admission to the Union on an equal footing with the original states. This ingenious plan ensured that the country would not become a colonial empire but a growing family of states. Ohio became the first graduate of this system, joining the Union in 1803, setting a precedent that would guide westward expansion for generations. The most transformative moment in this early period arrived in 1803 with an astonishing deal. Napoleon Bonaparte, needing funds for his European wars, the decades following the Louisiana Purchase saw the idea of manifest destiny take firm hold in the American psyche. It was a powerful, romantic notion of a special mission to spread dominion and democratic ideals across the continent. This belief drove policy. It justified territorial acquisition. It fueled relentless westward migration. The first major test of this expansionist zeal came in Texas. American settlers, invited by Mexico, poured into the region. Cultural and political clashes soon led to a fight for independence. In 1836, after the famous battle at the Alamo, Texas became its own republic. Its ultimate goal was to join the United States. This desire culminated in 1845, when Texas was annexed, officially becoming the 28th state. The annexation, however, was fraught with controversy. It was championed by Southerners who saw Texas as new territory for the expansion of slavery, and it was fiercely opposed by Northerners for that very reason. More critically, annexation immediately created a border dispute with Mexico. This simmering tension would soon erupt into open warfare, setting the stage for greater territorial gain. It also deepened the sectional divides, beginning to fracture the nation. At the same time, another piece of the continental puzzle was falling into place far to the northwest. The Oregon Country was a vast, fertile region, jointly occupied by Britain and the United States. American settlers, drawn by tales of rich farmland, began streaming across the formidable Oregon Trail. The popular slogan, 54-40 or fight, expressed the aggressive desire to claim the entire territory. In the end, diplomacy prevailed over conflict. The Oregon Treaty of 1846 peacefully established the border at the 49th parallel. That gave the United States clear title to what would become Oregon, Washington, Idaho. The unresolved conflict with Mexico finally exploded into the Mexican-American War, 1846-1848. The war, a decisive victory for the United States, had a profound and immediate impact on the nation's geography. The immense territorial gains from Mexico immediately ignited the smoldering embers of the slavery debate. Well, you know, the Compromise of 1850 was a desperate attempt to keep the peace. It admitted California as a free state, but it also included a stringent, Fugitive Slave Act to appease the South. This delicate balance could not hold. The Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854 effectively repealed the Missouri Compromise, allowing settlers to decide slavery by popular vote. Bleeding Kansas followed pro-slavery and anti-slavery forces clashed violently. The dream of orderly expansion had turned into a nightmare of sectional conflict. The Civil War, from 1861 to 1865, was the ultimate test of the Union, a tragic and bloody conflict before ultimately reforging it. Even during the war, the federal government promoted westward settlement. The Homestead Act of 1862 offered 160 acres, required 5 years residence and cultivation. It democratized land ownership, encouraging hundreds of thousands of families, immigrants, freed slaves, single women, to try their luck on the plains. After the war, focus returned to filling the map. The Transcontinental Railroad, completed in 1869, stitched the country together. As the 19th century drew to a close, the continental United States was largely settled, but the nation's expansionist impulse had not entirely faded. It now looked beyond its shores. In 1867, Secretary of State William Seward arranged the purchase of Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million. Critics dubbed it Seward's Folly, mocking the acquisition of a vast, frozen wasteland. For decades, it seemed they might be right, but the Klondike Gold Rush in the 1890s brought a flood of prospectors and revealed the territory's immense hidden value. Alaska was far from a folly. It was a storehouse of natural resources, fish timber, and, later, vast reserves of oil. At the same time, America's attention was drawn to the Pacific, to the strategically located and culturally rich Hawaiian Islands. For decades, American business interests, primarily sugar planters, had grown powerful in the kingdom. In 1893, with the support of United States Marines, these planners orchestrated the overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy, deposing Queen Liliuokalani. The push for annexation was controversial, but strategic interest during the Spanish-American War tipped the scales. In 1898, the United States formally annexed Hawaii. The islands became an incorporated United States territory, a crucial naval base in the Pacific, and a place where its unique Polynesian culture began a complex and often difficult merger with American society. For over half a century, both Alaska and Hawaii existed as territories, integral to the United States, but without the full rights and representation of statehood. Their populations grew, and their strategic importance became undeniable, particularly during World War II, when Hawaii's Pearl Harbor became the site of the attack that drew America into the conflict.